It's race day. Welcome, race fans, to a showcase of driving perfection. My name's Webbo, and let's get down trackside. Hold on tight, we're gonna go for it. Boom, that's how it's done. Whoa, easy. Surely not all the way around the outside. Oh yeah, we're cooking now. Shake and bake, baby. Shake and bake. This is a roller coaster of emotions. The drivers are pushing their machines to the limit and beyond. Woo, it doesn't get any better than that. We wait for the lights, the revs build, and so does the excitement. And it's drop the clutch and go, go, go! Okay, driver, it's hammer time. This driver is an artist, and the racetrack is their canvas. Did you see that? Did you see that? Wow! Let's watch it again. Ooh, hopefully they'll get away with that one. What a great start, and it looks like we can build on this now and really make a good race of it. There's the fastest lap, folks. No mercy on the menu today. Yeah, sideways is rarely ever faster, but you do get style points. And we roll the safety car dice. Leave them alone. They know what they're doing. Oh no, someone's gone bowling into turn one. What a shocker. Moving left, jinking right, keep them guessing. Lawn mowing as a side gig. And we go down the inside, Danny Rick style. We're on the edge of our seats here, folks. The racers are pushing their limits, risking it all for that coveted first place position and the all-important win. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The two cars ahead are fighting with each other. It's slowing them down. And through we go! That driver is a complete and total. A word has not been invented to describe how complete and total they are. But they are one, and a complete and total one at that. And it all comes down to this, the final lap. If you smell what this driver is cooking. This seems like as good a time as any to ask if you've subscribed yet. There's your Grand Slam, pole, fastest lap, and the win! Well, a very warm welcome, folks, back to the International Racing League here on my channel. This is Webbo, and it's time to go racing for the fourth time of the fourth season, not as advertised in the title today. Good day to Epic Melon Fruit, to Bjorn here in the chat, and good day to everybody else who wants to enjoy the racing with us tonight. Round 4, as I said, it's a straightforward 20-minute qualifying. And 50% race as usual. Today we are having some difficulties getting our server up and running today. Unfortunately, it's took me a while to get in, and I thought I was going to be late putting all the pieces together for the broadcast, but as it stands, everything has come through okay. So we at the end of the previous race, where did we see ourselves in terms of the championship? Good evening to AJ or ARL, who joins us with his usual round of greetings here. I hope everybody is looking forward to it. I hope you've been practicing hard as usual, and you're not going to come in with excuses like not done any practice, just moved house, just flown in and got off the plane, and I've found a rig to race on, and all of those usual shenanigans. Well, Mercked at the moment is at the top of the championship with one of everything so far. A win, a second, a third, a pole, a fastest lap in total. So whatever happens tonight is going to ruin that streak right now. He's got 67 points and jump to the top of the standings with now Unsku in second position, Unsku in the Haas, and he has 57. Drop down that one position. He has a win and a third place with squints at phone, a fastest lap. Then we have Bjorn de Boer, who has 52 points in the Williams. He has 2 second places and 2 fastest laps. I'm going to have to go ahead and actually zoom into this one. No, I'm wrong. It says poles. Okay, Strike Moist, our double world champion from seasons 1 and 2. Still in the Aston Martin, they are sticking by their driver. Has 37 points. He has 1 win. A couple of not so stellar races though as well, with a total of 3 weekends he has shown for this so far. 37 points in 4th. In 5th place, we have Ricky Maru on 29 points, has yet to feature on any of our podiums. And that is a very strange set of circumstances, as Season 3, Ricky Maru, was almost permanently on that podium. He has 52. He has 29, I should say. In 6th place, Ashtube has 21 points and a struggle to get into the lobby today. It looks like so have the majority of our drivers, unfortunately, down to 10 now. We have Spiddy Spud in 7th on 17. Ole is in 8th on 15 points, with AJ all the way down in 9th on 9 points, unfortunately, but he did gain a position from the last race, and he has a fastest lap to his name. I should mention that Ole has a single podium, a 3rd place to his name as well. Chuck Norris has 8 points and is joint 10th with Milan, with Sticky having 6 points, moving up 3 places from his position after round 2. Flo Pink 13 points, 13th place on 5 points. Jeremy Clarkson has 2. Nike has 1. Just the other feature is that Atsu with 0 points has 1 fastest lap to his name. Then let's talk about our Constructors' Championship here, as things have been flipped around quite considerably. Well, Mercedes, thanks to Merck's appearance, have that full string of tick boxes. They have 67 points. Haas have 57. Williams joint second on 57 points. We have Aston Martin on 38. Red Bull are in 5th on 35. Racing Bulls, or VCarb as I usually refer to them as, are in 6th place. We have McLaren on 25 points in 7. Ferrari have 8 points in 8th. Sauber and Alpine have yet to score in our 4th season tonight. I don't know if we've got any news from the chat today, from the drivers' chat room. AJ saying he's been shameful with 9 points. Got to sort it out. Hopefully, time now to work on it, he says. Well, the rain has decided to make an appearance here in Spa, as you would absolutely expect and be disappointed if it didn't rain in Spa. We are very much looking forward to this one, and the Codemasters did neglect to put onto the podium there the anti-shell Greenpeace protest banner that was dangling from there a few years ago. But first out of the pits, as per usual, is ARL. And this could be an important run here, because it could only get worse from here on in. So it's possible that in the rain, we end up with a worsening track throughout the session. Now, most of our drivers will be looking at the forecast. ARL is shimmying all the way down the Kemmel Straight here, trying to get temperature in those intermediates. Not usually a huge problem getting temperature in your intermediates, but he feels the need to continue and make sure that the car is absolutely on the button for him. Be monitoring those temperatures and making sure that he makes full use of the brakes. Usually drivers will just trail brake the entire warm-up lap just to generate that extra little bit of heat as well. Welcome if you're just joining us tonight. It's very good to have you here. We are on track for the 4th round of the International Racing League's 4th season total, and it's time to get ourselves qualifying. So the VCarbs did a very, very good job last week, but now we are here to try and tackle a brand new season. This season will run all the way through the holiday period, so we will still be here on Sunday nights through Christmas, New Year, and of course into January and February as well. 10 races of this particular season. We experimented with a 16 race season run last time out, but have reverted back to our usual pattern, which is a 10 race season. I don't know if Moist was probably hoping that we would go back to a shorter season, but we'll join ARL on his first push lap now, down into La Source hairpin, getting really good turn in thanks to all that tyre prep, and then a little slide on the way through as well, maybe a touch overspeed through the apex. But as I said, this could be the best the track actually will be the entire session, running through Eau Rouge over the top of Radion, and he's correcting the car as well. It's not an easy corner, and it is made doubly difficult in the rain. So not much to do here. Just check your brake balance, check your deployment, and hit those brakes down into Les Combes, the chicane here, the right-hander followed by the left. Then we will go into Malmedy, a difficult corner at the best of times, but in the wet even more so, before heading down the hill to the Rivage hairpin. A long, slow corner with little stabs of the throttle to rotate the car, and then into Jackie X corner, or no name, depending on your iteration and your preference. No argument about this one. This is Pouon. Avoid that inside curve like the plague and try and carry as much speed through as possible. You get a good slingshot all the way out before you braking heavily into Les Fagnes chicane. First, Les Fagnes 1. Second, of course, Les Fagnes 2. And a big snap on the way out, and he's just about avoiding his invalidation. This is Stavolo now, this section. And it's really important to get down on the power. ARL seems to still be in tyre warming mode to some extent, but he'll want to put a banker lap in at the end of this one. Now we go through into Blanchimont, usually full throttle, even in the in light rain. This is probably qualifies as medium rain. Big stop then into the bus stop chicane, and you've got to get the car exactly at the correct speed for this one, otherwise it feels really slow, or you are understeering wildly. A 153.8, very difficult for me to compare that to anybody at this stage, of course, but his teammate is out there and hunting time. But we also have the Haas coming through. I think we've actually got the Ferrari, but that is Chuck Norris heading into the bus stop for the end of his outlap. This one, though, Unsku, usually very quick in qualifying trim, and looking for a run out here to the line. Unsku goes pole, a 153.17 tenths of a second, beating ARL out there. So he might be thankful that ARL went out and did the job for him to just clear the initial burst of rain. Here comes ARL's teammate Ashtube to go a 53.9. Very, very little to split the two drivers there through that one, as I think that's Sticky coming on through. We've got Mercked on a hot lap right now. and trying to just cope with the car. Let's see how this is handling for him. Feeling a little bit calmer here for Merkt. Looks like we don't have our double world champion, the Maestro Moist, with us tonight, unfortunately. Maybe he'll be able to show up during qualifying and start at the back of the grid, but he really does not need this at the moment with his start to the season. Really needs to start picking up those podiums and building a championship hunt here. On the way out of the bus stop comes Merkt to go just P5 at this stage. Is it possible that he left it too late? Usually plays a very, very cool game, does Merkt, on the way through qualifying. But you've got to be on track to make the best of the best moment in qualifying, and it's difficult in the rain to predict exactly when that will be. Chuck Norris in the Ferrari, next to run through Blanchimont, and little noise from under the car as the porpoising continues. Heavy braking then down into the bus stop, little wide of the apex, releasing the throttle just ever so gently on the way out, and Chuck Norris gets a 1:56.6, the slowest time so far on the clock. We'll see what Sticky can do in the Red Bull. Not a bad car in the rain to have. Of course, all the drivers are on the same multiplayer car model, just the official F1 liveries applied over the top. We do obviously use the equal performance here. Across the line we go with Sticky at 1:55.8. Great to see Waitsy join us in the live chat. Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you very much. Looking forward to a Christmas break very soon. I hope everybody out there is looking forward to that too. Into Rivage then on board the McLaren. This is Speedy Spud, and it's going to be a slightly soaked Speedy Spud today. Maybe a parboiled Spud on the way through Blanchimont. Excuse me, this is Pouon. And just missing the apex, but it's better to miss the apex in Pouon than to actually hit it and go over the top. Thanks so much, Waitsy. Hopefully you can get yourself driving here as soon as possible. And running out wide. I know you work shifts, so it's difficult. A little bit of gravel on the outside corner of Speedy Spud's car, just unsettled the balance slightly coming through. ARL goes fastest on his second lap. That's a great lap from him of 1:52.2, and an indication perhaps that either the tyres are working better or the track is drying ever so slightly through the session. Of course, as the commentator here, I don't get the weather forecast, I don't get the conditions of the car and track. So it would be really interesting to have that information as Speedy Spud comes through and completes the lap. He took a very, very wide exit for the car. Fastest lap for Unsku at the top of the standings in the Haas. He has managed to go 1:51.5. A very, very quick time indeed. Looks like lots of drivers have managed to fuel the car up here. ARL on the hunt for some more time, I think, at this stage, because you fuel the car up and then you just make sure that you're on track. The deficit and the penalty for running more fuel in these cars is much reduced when you're in the wet conditions, because you're being careful on the brakes anyway, and you have much more gentle throttle application to take on. So I've only just noticed an odd shape on the V-carb there at the bottom of the halo, but I think that is just a trace line for the adjusters. It's not actually a strange windscreen effect that they've got on board. Running through then Stavolo for ARL. Could do with some lap data, couldn't we, to track how this is going for ARL. But the hard work has been done now. Oh, big twitch there from ARL. Waitsy saying he's a reserve in most leagues. I think you're in this one, aren't you, mate? So hopefully you can get in. But ARL, not happy with that one. Come ahead and join us if you can. If you're in this league, then I'm sure you can get yourself an invite and come in for the race. As Ashtube climbing over the curb slightly This is on board, obviously, the other V-Carb. We've got Speedy Spud out there, about to complete his lap and coming through, and it will be a third place, 52.6. The track obviously working, and the car setup working for Speedy Spud. I don't know the forecast for the race, so I don't know if the drivers are having to perform a bit of a compromise setup here for the race. Beyond a Bore and Loop Racer playing it very cool. I know that Loop Racer is not able to use his usual rig tonight and will be racing on controller. So he will be going through some difficult difficult moments on track, especially in the rain. It's not the best not the best conditions to be debuting on controller, is it? But over the top of Radion, and there he goes. So Waits is saying doesn't believe he is in. Okay, I think it's probably too late to get you in then, mate. Unfortunately, I'll be in all kinds of trouble if I get you in and you haven't been verified. So I would love to. AshTube just overruns the second part of Les Comps, and he's just getting out of the way here, I think. Well, I thought he was getting out of the way of arrival on track. Just scrubbing in a set of intermediates. But was that the sun I just saw? I think it might be. I think the drivers are now deciding that the intermediates have cooked their goose. They're not going to go any faster. The track is most definitely dry. I think we'll get DRS enabled in a moment, so that will confirm the conditions as the drivers will now head back into the pits, and we might get 5 minutes of dry running for them to tackle. So basically press reset and maybe look at maybe two-shot quali here. So it could be that the drivers just fuel up to do 2 fast laps and whatever charge lap sequence they prefer. But it may be just on the bubble to get out, back in, out, and on your second fast lap before the end. Look at how close that pit wall is. It is treacherous here in Spa, especially in the wet. I have seen so many races end due to underestimating the lack of grip on the way into the pit lane here in Brazil and other places where it rains very frequently, you have to say, but it is definitely something that happens to our drivers from time to time. Speedy Spud, let's have a look at, I'm assuming he is now on dry tyres. He is not, in fact, on dry tyres. Jeremy Clarkson is the first driver out who has timed it onto the dry tyres. So he now gets to be the first one across the line, but he has unfortunately invalidated. I think he might still be the first one to run a lap on the soft tyres. No, Merck is going to be it. Merck comes in. So perfect timing from Merck, who was on dry tyres but clearly had invalidated, and just preparing the car then for a dry run. Might need some settings adjustments, and it looks like Jeremy Clarkson struggling there with the rear end of the car. I wonder if the track is just too green at this stage. So here he is, Jeremy Clarkson, 53.5, but as I said, all those times are going to be reset now as our drivers wait to come out. It looks like a V-Carb on its way out. That is ARL. Unsurprising to see ARL, one of the first drivers out once again. And out onto the gravel as well. Clarkson very much struggling to get the temperature, I think, into these soft tyres, just not getting the grip he expects. And normally when drivers are going to a grippier part of a session or a softer tyre, they do end up with more grip than they expect. But it seems like Jeremy Clarkson just slightly over-egging this one, and I think he scrubbed that set. And there you can see just hitting the wall slightly. But we'll go back to ARL, who is on his at least his outlap. I don't know if that is going to be a charge lap after this outlap, or he will just go straight into the action. It does look like it's low grip out there, and I'm not meaning any insult to Jeremy Clarkson at all. So it does appear like certainly ARL is struggling. Lots of points on offer today for the drivers, and that's important, of course, for the championship. Only round 4 of the 10 race championship, so you really do have to get on with it if you can. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to invite Waitsy while I think about it. Because let's have a look. Okay, doesn't want to do that. Why doesn't it want to do that? There he is. Okay, I've invited Waitsy to the league, but I don't think we'll get you in tonight, even if I vouch for you, which I would be perfectly willing to do. Here is ARL. There was a position tonight where I might have had a co-commentator at one point, but unfortunately that fell through in the end. ARL. That has to be one of the more embarrassing things to do. ARL, on the first opportunity on dry tyres, has clattered the wall, and I would not be surprised if he has actually damaged the car. He'll have to go all the way round again, seemingly having real trouble with the track conditions. Must be really cold out there. And good evening to Respond, who joins us, one of our most faithful viewers here. Always good to see you respond. And ARL is just continuing to twitch that car around. We've got Unsku, who is the first of the fast guys, out on his outlap and hoping to get himself ready to qualify on dry tyres for the first time. Let's see if he's having any trouble. Still warming those tyres, so it could be. We have a little bit of a cold track scenario going on. And let's join him on board then as Unsku runs through. I wonder if AJ will stop by in the live chat and just explain himself for hitting the pit wall on the start of his first dry lap. And look at Unsku also struggling in a big way. And its pressure is on here. Everyone has 35 seconds to cross the line to start their final lap. Unsku losing some grip there. Milan just requesting a friend up. I don't know if that came through on the screen. Unfortunately, my second device has stopped functioning, so I can't follow the stream out the corner of my eye. I can follow the chat, but not the actual coverage. So if you do hear any issues, or there's something devastating happening with the with my mic, Milan is asking if I can invite him real quick. I don't know if I can. Unfortunately, I will cut away from what could be the pole position time. I'll do my best for you, Milan, but I'll see what I can do. Do friend me on PlayStation if you are a PS driver as well. That can double your chances. Loop Racer saying missed the cut, unfortunately, and Unsku is backing the car in to Stavolo here. Really uncharacteristic for the drivers to be struggling at this stage. Looks like it's Unsku, followed by Chuck Norris out there. And as Ricky says, what is this? Mercked P7. This is wet quality, Ricky. That's what is happening. Where are you tonight? Why aren't you with us? Obviously, otherwise engaged, but not to the point where you can't watch the live chat. Coming over the line, and Unsku has a 150.2. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Chuck Norris who, unfortunately, has, in fact, had a problem there. ARL has taken the checkered flag, so cannot get round in time. Ashtube has a chance for pole here. Remember how scrappy Unsku's lap was looking. Let's have a look as we go through the bus stop. As we light up the rears there, and it's no faster in the dry conditions. I am honestly pretty shocked here. Merckx is about to get through the bus stop as well. So Merckx in the next one. Bjorn hasn't even set a time. He was just waiting for the track to dry up. But he might regret not being near there. It's Merckx in second. It's a 150.392. Ricky saying this game is broken. Keeps lagging after the update as the time's coming in. Bjorn de Boer, how about that? Turn up, put the car on pole. And it's the same for Jeremy Clarkson, just sneaking in right at the death. I'm going to do my level best now to invite Milan if I can. But I'll be in between sessions. So Beyond the Ball with the pole position, a 149.856, was one of the only drivers with Jeremy Clarkson and Speedy Spud to set faster laps on the dry conditions. We've got Unsku down in fourth with Merckx in fifth. take a picture of that one. Then we've got Ashtube in 6th, setting his fastest on the intermediate tyres, as did his teammate ARL in 7th. Sticky's in 8th, Chuck Norris in 9th. Loop Racer couldn't register a time in the end, unfortunately, but we will continue onto the race session. The revs are building. It's time to go racing as the 5 lights are on, and it's dropped the clutch and go, go, go. It looks like a good start away from the front from Bjorn de Boer and Jeremy Clarkson alongside, who breaks all the way around the outside and tries his luck as Bjorn de Boer takes the classic racing line through, and it looks like Loop Racer getting a little bit squirrely out on the exit curb, but so far so good for the drivers as they're going to be tiptoeing carefully through what is a difficult Eau Rouge and Radeon corner, and over the top of Radeon and onto the Kemmel straight they come in single file on that first lap. It looks like it's going to be Speedy Spud running alongside one another here. He's got Merckx on the inside. He's following the Toyota Racing Haas, and he allows the V-carb of Ashtube on the way through as the Haas is out on the grass, and it looks like Loop Racer has managed to make it up to 7th position. Chuck Norris, Sticky and Unsku dropping down, but we'll have a look at why that might be in a moment. But down 6 positions, Unsku, one of our race winners and championship contenders this season so far. Jeremy Clarkson has got himself ahead of Bjorn de Boer at the outset, and that was done through Rivage or X, and a nice sequence there as the drivers file through Pouhon. Next, Sticky almost at the back with Unsku right at the back. Jeremy Clarkson it is at the head of the field, having gained a position. Ashtube up 3 places from the start, and it's medium tyres for the majority of our runners. Loop Racer's got away well. Here comes Bjorn de Boer fully alongside for a moment there, the Alpine, but the Alpine just getting that tail ahead, and we will chase down underneath the diffuser of what is typically a very quick, slippery Alpine car. Shaping to the inside was the Alpine, just to put off Bjorn de Boer. No trouble coming from behind, and he gets a little bit unseated, but Speedy Spud allows Merck through, and he needs to get that position right back, and Spud on the grippier exit of the bus stop has the opportunity now to break down into the last source, but doesn't fancy taking on our championship leader, the merciless Merck. And Merck just getting himself nicely ahead. Loop Racer slipping down to 9th position as Chuck Norris is at the rear of the race now. Unsku has moved back up to 8th place. But there's lots to do here as Bjorn de Boer is ahead of Jeremy Clarkson for just a moment. The DRS being awarded and open to Jeremy Clarkson for still being within that 1 second barrier. Merckx making his way up to 3rd position already. But Ashtube trying to get that place back as quickly as possible. ARL, Ashtube's teammate, just 2 places behind him at this stage as well, as they light up the tyres under the brake smoke, going into Rivage corner and through Jackie X. The possible race strategies are talking about race strategies that are not going to apply today. Possibly drivers will go soft to hard, but I think they will go soft to medium, and I think then we will see medium to soft. Only 22 laps, so the drivers have to manage the soft tyre. I think we will see medium hards in this race as Merck doing his absolutely typical situation of lighting up those tyres under braking. This, though, is the battle for the lead once again as Bjorn de Boer is still back underneath this Alpine, and we look left, look right. We're going to use every bit of that slipstream. It looks like it's going in slow motion at the moment, doesn't it? And we look down into the bus stop, but no way through. There's almost a disincentive to make the move into the bus stop, unfortunately, thanks to the DRS that is awarded and controlled before that position. And away we go then down towards last source, and it's a wider line then for Bjorn de Boer to go through, hoping to get a straighter route through the corner, and Bjorn de Boer will follow the Alpine, and there is such a thing as being too close up this hill. You can end up losing that front wing power, but the Alpine getting away, stabbing on the ERS here, and Jeremy Clarkson at the head of the field is doing a great job here, usually a bit of a midfield runner, but owning the top of the race so far, and very effectively. That's a great move from ARL up the inside of Speedy Spud into Les Combes. And a lovely, lovely little move there from ARL, who is keen to start amassing some points and podiums through this season. Further back, Unsku up to 7th, has got himself ahead of the Red Bull of Sticky. Chuck Norris has got ahead of Loop Racer, who will be running around and trying to get hold of a point today after having to switch to controller unexpectedly. But great to have someone willing to put themselves out there like this, and hopefully we'll be rewarded with at least something from today. Through they go with Jeremy Clarkson in the Alpine, leading Bjorn de Boer still, and doing a fantastic job up there with speed and power, as he always is. No Hammond or May to bother him here today, or Wildman for that matter. But here then, just having a really cheeky look at the inside goes Bjorn de Boer. He has got the tail ahead slightly as they go into the bus stop in a better braking position. And there he goes into first place once again. The V-carbs together. That is tricky in a DRS train, being stuck with your teammate. And the top 7 still down the short main start-finish straight here. It looks like we're on for a really good race with 18 laps to go, plus the one that they're on. Bjorn de Boer leads us by half a second, as now Jeremy Clarkson gets to follow him up the hill, and we'll see what kind of overspeed that Alpine can manage, and I think it will be quite considerable. Here is the DRS in operation, and look at this, absolutely flying by. I think he is maybe using a bit of VRS, but look at Merckx, more importantly. Merckx right up there, and trying to get his position back, his speedy spud as well, but Merckx has made it up to 3rd place, and he's right on the tail of these two, and Bjorn de Boer has been scared into making a move here, seeing the Mercedes coming up behind him, and knowing what it's like when you get Merckx at the front of the race. He decides now is the time, into Rivage of all places, to go for the move, and putting a bit of a surprise there on the Alpine. It looks like the Alpine might be trimmed out for top speed. Bjorn de Boer seemingly having a bit of an edge here in the mid part of the circuit, the twistier, more aerodynamically sensitive part of the circuit. But of course, the Camel Straight, the run through Blanchimont to the bus stop, you do desperately need that top speed. So it's always a balance spot, whether you're comfortable with high downforce, high deg, and low top speed, and ultimately probably better lap time on your own, or you prefer to go for the top speed and be racy in the race and actually be able to make overtakes, or at least repel overtakes. Here is Bjorn de Boer then leading our race. Jeremy Clarkson in that 2nd position. Merckx right on the tail. ARL has got his teammate here and is starting to catch the drivers in front, and I think is within DRS. Indeed he is, and that is a fantastic run from him as Astrid just climbs that sausage curb. This is Merckx running tucked up underneath the rear wing of the Alpine. Now we may even see some bump drafting up the Camel Straight. It looked like the tiniest bit of harvesting going on board the Alpine, who gets that DRS now, and you can see him pull away. He really has very low downforce on this race, and he's gone for the lead, and he's got it on lap 5 and back into the lead of the race. And this action of the Alpine could well bring our drivers nice and close together, as now he's defending into Rivage. And Merckx has got a brilliant view of this. Luke Race, I think, has picked up a penalty, unfortunately. Easily done when unfamiliar with racing with a controller. Merckx is, I'm sure, absolutely loving this view of the action. He would love to see Jeremy Clarkson and Bjorn de Boer fighting. He will certainly be hoping that they fight to the point where they run into each other. And Bjorn de Boer, just using the ERS out of out of Pouhon and into Leifania, completes a move there. Another surprise move then from Bjorn de Boer. But has it come too late in the lap for him to be able to extend the gap? And are we going to see a constant seesaw battle of slipstreaming among now the top 4? And I would well expect that to be the case. Maybe even Speedy Spud can get in on this, as the drivers are going to be holding themselves up a little bit from their ultimate speed. You would fancy if Merckx got right up there, he would be starting to extend the gap. But that run down the Camel Straight with DRS just keeps the drivers together, and we had exactly the same situation, albeit a very different track at the Red Bull Ring last time out. A slipstream battle for the entire race. Really glad that everyone's here enjoying the race with us. Thank you so much to the legends who've already liked the video today, and our subscribers and frequent commenters on the channel. Here comes Merckx, and also the Alpine as well. Merckx using the ERS. I fancy that Merckx has been holding off and keeping some of his ERS in reserve as he usually does for just moments like that. We know the Alpine had to run like that. Ricky, I think your live chat submission is possibly a little late, or it's weirdly premonition, because you're calling Merckx having fallen back. He's into first position. So let's see what happens. How has the power of that Alpine's top speed, has he got anything to say about the now merciless Merckx, the leader of the championship, the reigning world champion, is at the front of our race once again after starting down in a lowly 5th place. ARL is struggling to just stay within that DRS range. Ricky saying now it's over, he's got DRS. Well, we'll see. We will see. But that Alpine is looking very quick. I really want to look at their ERS deployment, and there's another one of those phantom smashed marker boards next to the track. Don't do it, Jezza. Don't go for the lead into the bus stop. Let's wait, shall we? As we run through. There's Amazon Music, our sponsor on the Halo, and I have put a competition out for my loyal viewers. Have a look at my community posts, and you can win just over a month of Amazon Music Prime on me. If you follow the post's conditions, and I'd be very happy to run a randomizer to give that gift out just in time to chill over the Christmas break. Here comes Jeremy Clarkson with the power and speed of that Alpine, and back into the lead again. And thankfully, it looks like he is really ready to race. And either the conditions today, his setup, or this track in particular is absolutely suiting Jeremy Clarkson. And it's great to see somebody new challenging the big boys at the front of our race. It was a little bit upsetting to me to be missing our double world champion Moist, but thankfully we have got a race on our hands. Bjorn long-time rival of Merckx and friend as well, it must be said. Milan was unable to get into a car and his game crashed, unfortunately. I'm really sorry to hear that. Hopefully you'll be back with us next week. But Bjorn is in that 3rd position now, with behind him ARL stretching out to almost 9/10 of a second. ARL, come on, let's go. Let's get into this party with the leaders. It's lap 7 of 22. The medium tyres will be nearing a trickier part of their lifespan. Unsku has gone off the softs and he's gone onto the hard tyres really early as well. Loop Racer has moved on to the mediums. I think he's going to be 2-stopping this one, is Loop Racer. And now we are going to go, and there's a little bit of lag there on the Merckx Mercedes, unfortunately. So let's ride with Bjorn de Boer as we head up into Eau Rouge once again. You can see Merckx just getting some clean air on that front wing and not wanting to cross behind the other car. That is absolutely shocking lag for the drivers, and that was Jeremy Clarkson just transporting forwards. And we vie then with Merckx and Bjorn de Boer to try and get the lead of the race. But Clarkson completely unaware of what's going on, I think, behind him with that lag, and just doing the job that he needs to do. But it has thankfully brought ARL into now a 4-way battle at the lead of our race. Remember, Bjorn has great downforce and speed into some of these corners in this very section, the second sector of the racetrack. So expect him to be thinking about a sneaky move. Unfortunately for him, I think Merckx has probably seen some of his unexpected moves going into these corners in the middle sector of the circuit. But he'll certainly be thinking about it. I'm just going to have a little cheeky look at this for the live viewing audience only, and not to be read out or communicated to our drivers. But actually, I'm somewhat surprised at the situation that I've just displayed on screen. And I will say no more about that, because I know that the drivers, some of them, are brave enough to listen to me commentating while they race, which is crazy stuff. Anyway, ARL coming in to within half a second now, and we have matching gaps between the top 4, which is perfect as we run to start lap 9 of 22. Jeremy Clarkson leads Merckx, leads Bjorn de Boer and ARL. Speedy Spud still within sight of this group, and certainly if things get a little bit off, Ricky's saying, oh, he wasn't live. So there you go. Got it. Okay, that makes sense. So let's ride with Merckx, shall we, as we have another really good quick run up the hill. We'll use the DRS as soon as it's given to us, and we will breeze our way past. And I wonder if Bjorn de Boer, he really struggles through that Eau Rouge and Raidillon section. A little lock up from Jeremy Clarkson, but watching from perspective of Merckx, can he now, I think his best hope here is to try and open a 1 second gap in the middle and third sector of the racetrack, and try and actually spend as much of his energy as possible and get ahead. Now, I don't think he's got a lot to lose in doing it, but it's desperately what he's looking for. Let's try and ride on board with him, and there he is, actually deploying some of that energy, and you can see on the screen on his steering wheel that he is in overtake mode. Occasionally it flashes green. He's using it. There goes another penalty for Loop Racer, but he's still looking to get one World Championship point if he can, and the gap at the moment is 0.5 of a second, Merckx to Jeremy Clarkson. It's not enough, but really Merckx has to just do everything to try and get outside of that 1 second window. And I think when he does that, I think he can get the gap. But for now, at least we got to hope that Jeremy Clarkson can keep up with him here. Usually, though, it is the pit stop sequence that the last phase of the race that Merckx is absolutely imperious. Now, if the drivers are going to switch to hard tyres, they will probably pit pretty soon. If they're going to go for softs, it's going to be a while before that soft tyre window is open. We know that Unsku has started down there in, what was he, 4th or 5th when he started the race. He was a little bit high, had a very poor getaway, made up a few places, and has made his first pit stop and has put the hard tyres on very, very early. Merckx managing to avoid being overtaken that time. So there is the window, potentially, to open the gap now. 0.4 of a second is that gap. I just want to have a look at the gap to leader to see where Unsku is. 26 seconds away from the lead. He'll be hoping that these drivers continue to get in each other's way, so to speak, or at least cost each other time on the stopwatch, and he can try and drop that gap of 26 seconds. Loop Racer overtakes Sticky because Sticky, I think, was in the pits. No, that was a clean overtake for Loop Racer on Sticky as they went through Eau Rouge and Raidillon. Sticky not having any of it. He's got the DRS again, and he's going to get that position straight back. So a good battle at the back of the grid here. Loop Racer is holding the line, though, on the way into Les Combes, forcing Sticky to brake later and lock up the tyres. That was well done from Loop Racer. Didn't give up the position too early. Sticky just trying to get some temperature in those hard tyres as well. But on a controller with brake management like that down into the Les Combes hairpin. And I know what you guys are going to say. The controllers are OP. But if you're unfamiliar with the controller, it is going to be a big adjustment, and he's doing a great job so far anyway. Herein is the battle at the lead of the race, continuing as Merckx leads by just 0.4 of a second. Make that almost 5 now, and we'll just join Jeremy Clarkson in the Alpine, and you'll be hoping to try and get that DRS beep. Well, we didn't hear it, but he got it because he pressed the button, and here he goes to sweep around the outside. It was a little bit cheeky from Merckx to have a little wiggle just as the car was coming up behind. I think it was just on the line rather than over the line of acceptability, but just creating a question mark in Jeremy Clarkson's mind. There's no hint of being off-put there from Clarkson, as actually for the first time Merckx just losing the rear of the car under traction. It does look like these 10-lap-old medium tyres are starting to lose some of their performance. 26.4, 26.2 is Unsku's gap to the leaders. He has potentially done enough to undercut some of these guys with his early stop, but then of course he's got a really difficult job of holding them off to the end of the race on very old hard tyres. They should run and run, but they just haven't got the performance. ARL slips right out of DRS range. It's a 3-horse race at this stage as Merckx is chasing down Jeremy Clarkson, but he's can't leave the door too wide open because behind him is Bjorn de Boer. Merckx going for the gap down into the inside. I wonder if any of these drivers are planning a pit stop here. Of course, we have to pick the exact camera that wouldn't tell us. And into the pits comes both both Merckx and Bjorn de Boer. And Bjorn de Boer just helps Merckx over the line there. Just make sure that he doesn't overslow to the position. ARL has picked up a position himself. Speedy Spud has likewise. So has Ashtube, who started on the mediums. Merckx and Bjorn de Boer are going for the softs with 10 laps remaining. That is a little on the edge of adventurous, potentially. Let's see where Unsku is, though. I think he might be too far away here. He is too far away. So it looks like it's around 20 seconds, maybe even less than that, the pit stop penalty on full racing speed. But Bjorn de Boer and Merckx have exited the pits. I'd be surprised, actually, that I wouldn't be surprised, I should say, if Bjorn had nudged Merckx into a speeding in the pit lane penalty. That's quite an interesting tactic to go for, if you're able to plan for that one nicely. So we've got Bjorn de Boer and Merckx on those soft tyres. Now, of course, the impetus of that decision has gone away from them now. So the rest of the grid will be able to see what they are competing on. I think you can access that information if you can't see it in the drivers most immediately behind you, but it's usually the 4 closest drivers to you. So Clarkson should be able to see that Merckx has put the soft tyres on at very least, and he'll be wondering exactly what he needs to do now. Is he going to do the same thing, cover off the pit stop of the drivers? Let's hit C. We're going to go into the pits, as is ARL, with a slightly faster line, potentially into there. That doesn't look like 1.8 seconds to the lead anymore. So into the pits we go, as does Speedy Spud. Ashtube is staying out, and he's confident on those tyres, and he clicks over to start his 13th lap on those tyres now. And here is Merckx coming through La Source. He's got Bjorn de Boer behind him. I'm not sure. That's Ashtube ahead. So it looks like he has, in fact, got out ahead of the rivals that were with him, Jeremy Clarkson and ARL. This is Bjorn de Boer behind him. That has helped. The undercut has worked today. And Jeremy Clarkson needing a real hurry up. I think he's just within DRS range, so they will close back up again. Bjorn de Boer is... Whoa, dear me. I hope that's not what he could see, because that was absolutely shocking as he's got Merckx right by him. Merckx is struggling there with lag considerably. I would hope that's what's happening. But wow, that was frightening for both Bjorn de Boer and Merckx. I think navigated that one very well indeed, but it has brought these drivers all together again. So 1 lap delta with the tyres. That should help. Clarkson and ARL, who are on their fresh soft tyres, will have 1 lap in hand, and I would anticipate Bjorn de Boer and Merckx may well struggle towards the end of the race. Lap 21, they'll be feeling the tyres, and that was Bjorn de Boer getting right out of the slipstream and struggling away from the corner. Ashtube is alongside him. Here comes Bjorn de Boer, fully alongside. They're going to go side by side through Blanchimont. Ashtube, on the old tyres, remember, won't have the braking performance of the 2 cars with him. The V-Carb is trying to hold his position. He might have to overslow the car because Ashtube would ordinarily be wanting to go into the pit lane. I think that's what happened. He wanted to use the right-hand side of the track, but was essentially blocked because the driver's coming through. And I think Merckx and Clarkson, possibly even ARL, had to slow slightly. And Ashtube is now very much on a compromised lap here as he runs through. Hopefully he'll be able to recover that, as Bjorn de Boer could end up with a race-winning lead at this stage thanks to that altercation with Ashtube, who was a slower runner, out of position. But he has every right to hold on to his lead and go for the gap. Here comes here comes ARL on Jeremy Clarkson, and an indication for the first time, I think, that ARL has some top speed, has at least equal top speed to Jeremy Clarkson, who we've been looking at as someone as possibly the top top speed, as it were, the highest ranking top speed through the speed traps down the Kemmel Straight. Merckx has got by and now needs to close in on Bjorn de Boer. 1.7 seconds as we're around 2/3 distance of this 22-lap race. We have Bjorn de Boer leading Merckx, Ashtube out of position at the moment. ARL and Jeremy Clarkson all hunting for this podium. There goes the release of his teammate, and he tried not to let the Alpine through, but unfortunately couldn't help it. So there goes the top 4 that are basically fighting for this podium. Then we have Ashtube down in 5th. We have Speedy Spud in 6th, Unsku in 7th, and Chuck Norris in 8th, with Sticky in 9th and Loop Racer in 10th position at the moment, who's made his second stop and fitted the medium tyres. Racing on controller for the first time in a long time, I think, tonight. It's Loop Racer. Merckx, new fastest lap of 44.0, desperate to get into that DRS range, and will be probably using a bit of ERS to catch. But I think Bjorn de Boer could well be in a similar situation and doing exactly the same thing, using the ERS to get away from Merckx at this stage. So it's a fascinating situation. Looks like ARL with a little bit of damage on the car potentially. You just see the little spanner and screwdriver symbol lighting up there on ARL's car. So looks like this is a very competent race from him. Let's get rid of that telemetry, shall we, off the screen. And have a little look at the position change from the start. ARL up 4 places to potentially be on the podium today. Jeremy Clarkson has been vying for the lead for a long time, but unfortunately slipped down to 4th through the run of pit stops, and now he's on the soft tyre. He's not enjoying performance that he had earlier on. Merckx up 3, ARL up 4. Everybody else pretty much has dropped down positions, with the exception of Chuck Norris, who's gained 1 on Sticky at this stage. But it's lap 15 of 22. We have ARL trying to repel the advances of Jeremy Clarkson from behind, and I imagine Jeremy Clarkson next trip down the Kemmel Straight, we will see just what is possible with that Alpine, and how it was running earlier on would indicate to me there's a strong chance of an overtake coming between those two. They can leapfrog, essentially take turns to pass each other with DRS. They could try and catch the ones in front here, but it takes a lot of cooperation from drivers who are probably not in a voice chat together to make that happen across teammates. But it's in both their interests to get up to the front of this grid. So let's see. Bjorn de Boer 0.5 of a second away from Merckx as they run up the down in the valley and uphill through Eau Rouge now, and over the top of Radion, hitting that full power, and we will expect to see a manoeuvre coming from behind in a moment. I think the Alpine is about to pass Jeremy Clarkson. There goes the manoeuvre from Merckx. Bjorn de Boer hanging on around the outside, and very nicely done there. He will essentially leave the door open. The Alpine did get through quite convincingly, but great bit of action from Bjorn de Boer and Merckx. Bjorn just putting a lot of trust, or both of them I guess, putting trust in each other to not run each other off the road, but a really, really nice interchange there between the two great friends and rivals. Chuck Norris has just overtaken Ashtube, who I think has pitted. Merckx has picked up a penalty. Now, I can't remember the last time Merckx picked up a track warning penalty. That, Ricky Maru is watching tonight, and I think he has just spat his drink all over his screen. I'm really sorry to say that, Ricky, but I'm pretty sure that is what is happening in the Maru household, because that is truly very, very strange to see. How has Merckx done it? And at Spa, of all places, that is honestly, I'm lost for words. I've not seen something from our reigning world champion like that before. 3-second penalty. That opens the door for Jeremy Clarkson and for ARL to potentially get on the podium and still beat Merckx in the end of this. So we will see if that's how this will work out. Just a 5-lap sprint to go now, but Merckx has a 3-second penalty, and that might well be unassailable, that penalty. It looks like Bjorn de Boer will have the opportunity. Here comes Merckx then with the DRS, go past the Williams in the Mercedes. Nicely done from him. Beyond the board, nothing he could do this time. Of course, Merckx caught him with a great deal of speed. So far, looks like steady stations there for Clarkson and ARL. No change up ahead, but ARL's got to be adding those times together and thinking, I am just outside of the leader Merckx time, and I now need to make that count, because for once Merckx could actually not feature on the podium. Now, he's only been beaten maybe twice on track since he started with us, and I don't think he's ever not finished on the podium. That would be absolutely unbelievable for our Merck the Merciless. We shall see if that's how things happen. And that was a big sideways moment for Merckx as well, and you can see he is struggling to hold on to the rear end of that Mercedes. Beyond the board will be enjoying watching that and thinking, I know I could actually get this W tonight for the W team. So we've got VMAX going on. We are heading down into the bus stop. Merckx was almost inviting Bjorn to have a go there, because he knows he could get him back thanks to the DRS, but Bjorn knows this track very well indeed and wouldn't be falling for that. Looks like Unscoot getting onto the back of Speedy Spud here for a potential 5th place finish. That will be a good recovery from him, and we will see 7/10 of a second between Clarkson and ARL, half that distance between Bjorn and Merckx. Distance, I'm actually talking about time here, so I have not confused the two. Well, Bjorn is struggling with the DRS, with the top speed. He's gone for a deliberate situation here where he is taking the hit of the top speed. Clarkson is slipping away from Merckx. He and ARL absolutely need to work together to gain a position each here today. So this has definitely got to be something that they need to be thinking about together. Looks like Unscoot right on the back of the McLaren here. Unscoot, the Haas driver. So he is on the recovery. He's on very old hard tyres, and I think he's now fighting with soft tyre runners. Ashtube gets an overtake done on Chuck Norris. And I heard this week that if you type Chuck Norris into Google and you misspell it, Google does not say, did you mean to say Chuck Norris? It just says, run away. So you've got Merckx in the lead of the race by 0.3 of a second now from Bjorn Rebor, who has caught up nicely, but will struggle thanks to the extra downforce on the car. He doesn't care about Clarkson and ARL catching them. But that looks like a little bit of harvesting happening on the Mercedes, who is going to try and trick Bjorn into not getting the DRS here. And I think he's done it. He's deliberately playing with his food here, is Merckx. So I think Merckx deliberately allowed the Williams to get ahead here. Now, you could argue that they know what they're doing, these two, and they actually want to use the DRS to good effect. Oh, and another big moment of lag, and this is dangerous stuff now for these two. I hope it is just happening for my screen and it's not happening for the drivers concerned, but that is absolutely wild once again for Merckx and Bjorn. It is these two drivers repeatedly. Now, they may be sharing the same platform, but this is extreme jeopardy for us trying to race on crossplay here. Merck leads by just 2.5 of a second. Jeremy Clarkson is still within the window of that penalty now, thanks to that huge amount of lag. Now, we have to put a slight question mark over the finish to the race if it finishes this close, because sometimes the lag will get resolved at the end of the race. Everybody's race time gets taken into account, and we end up with adjusted time gaps. So we won't know until the provisional results come out on the screen as to how this will finish, I think, is often the case. So I've been commentating for a long time on several iterations of the F1 platform, and here goes again Merckx allowing the line through. I think that was the DRS detection on the second part of the bus stop chicane. But it has been a while just to build on what I was saying earlier, it has been quite a while since I have seen lag affecting the race time to this extent. So I think hopefully we will get an update to fix this in short order. Here we go with the DRS once again then for the Williams. You can see Jeremy Clarkson has caught this group now. And as I said, partly down to that lag. There are 2 and a little bit laps to go on this race. Will Merckx hold on? Will the rest of the drivers behind him manage to continue to run without picking up a penalty? Can ARL get himself on the podium? This is a big, big ask now for ARL. And I think it's going to be important to look at gap to leader, because you can visibly see the gaps between the second and third drivers. But it's really about, is ARL within 3 seconds of Merckx? And will that actually change come the final results once the race times are adjusted for? But you can see several moments today where Merckx has suddenly shot backwards or forwards on the racetrack. And that does make fighting and challenging each other incredibly difficult. Racing close and hard, as we want the drivers to do, is incredibly difficult when cars seemingly teleport around and ghost unexpectedly. Now, this was the situation we had earlier on. Jeremy Clarkson, perhaps with the lowest downforce of all 3 of the cars vying for the current podium positions, on track at least. He may be able to even get a double overtake here as we're about to start lap 21, the penultimate lap of the race. And Clarkson's target here will be clear. Overtake at least one of these drivers before the end of this run into Les Comps. So here he is, waiting to use the ERS deployment at the best time possible. The last thing he wants to do is run into difficulty. But he has dropped back quite considerably to 9/10 of a second, and I think might be running out of ERS. So he is leaving this till the last lap, as ARL is hanging on by his fingernails here to a potential podium without overtaking someone before the checkered flag anyway. And we'll see if he can do it. I hope he can for his sake. But I'm wishing Jeremy Clarkson well here today, as well as a newcomer to the league, and he would obviously really love to get a podium with us. Clarkson currently running just 14th in our championship and duking it out with the guys at the very top in first and third positions at the moment, and he's really represented himself incredibly well here. So hopefully we will have for ourselves a show-stopping final lap to come. Let's have a quick look, shall we, at the telemetry situation, visual only. But that is how things stand at the moment between these rivals. So I fancy we are in for a change. So here we go then, down the start-finish straight for the final time into La Source. And the Alpine getting close. It looks like Merckx getting those tyres smoked up once again. Bjorn, we know, is struggling. He closes up through Eau Rouge and Raidillon thanks to the downforce levels he's got. The Alpine loses a little bit of front wing performance. This is a better momentum run through the corner. DRS is open, spamming that ERS overtake button now. He's got the DRS open, but it looks like Bjorn has spent everything possible to keep the position. And I would not have expected that at all. Let's see, though, as the final lap continues. Bjorn is usually very strong here now in this second sector. Will he go for a surprise move on Merckx, I wonder? He's just that little bit too far back to go for it, I think. Merckx apparently is derating. He may appeal to the stewards to get his track limit penalty revoked, but that would be a rarity if it does happen. We've seen it this season already. The stewards have actually stripped someone of a win thanks to a revoked penalty. But this is the build-up then to Stavelot corners. And we wait then to see if anyone is going to go for it down into the bus stop. Bjorn de Boer, 0.4 of a second away. Clarkson, a further 0.2 of a second away. Clarkson is going for it here. He wants that win. He's going to have to do it around the outside using the ERS deployment that's available to him. They'll go side by side with the battle for second and third. It looks like it's going to be Merckx on the way out of the corner. Clarkson has muscled his way through to finish. I think it's going to be Clarkson on top with Bjorneboer in second. Merckx, will ARL be able to finish within range? Not quite. ARL in fourth position, regardless of penalties. Unsku back to fifth, getting good points for the team. Speedy Spud in sixth. Ashtube coming through. It looks like Loop Racers just closed out the race in 10th position. This then is Ashtube to finish out ahead of Chuck Norris. No question really about how this race is going to finish at the lower end of the top 10. Chuck Norris will finish ahead of Sticky. There goes Ashtube. But Clarkson is your winner thanks to the penalty, as AJ is sighing, I think that is meant to be in the live chat. And a really well done race from everybody. Merck, though, it was the penalty that decided it in the end. But Clarkson managed to muscle his way through past Bjorneboer at the very end of the race. Stay tuned for the provisional results, of course, pending any stewards' inquiries. But as they finish under the flag, it is Jeremy Clarkson in the Alpine tractor to win the race, as things stand, and all the drivers joining each other. Well, that was unnecessary, Chuck. Absolutely unnecessary. The rare sight then of a driver celebrating the win behind another driver on track. But Jeremy Clarkson is your winner for Alpine. Merckx picks up driver of the day. Despite getting a penalty, he did pick up plenty of places and climb up the grid. I think he started 5th or 6th. So we'll have our podium ceremony. And ducking and diving and jabbing and hooking goes Jeremy Clarkson for the win, and a lot of fun, I'm sure, for our 14th place driver in the championship, picking up his first podium. And it's champagne time for Alpine, a rarity, but hopefully something that will become more common. So congrats to Jeremy Clarkson for a very well run race. Clean enough, I would say. There was a little touch of contact here and there, but a clean enough win from Clarkson. Bjorneboer may have something to say about that, but we shall see. I'll just check in with the driver chat here. Speedy Spud saying it was a tense race. Unsku says he thinks he's going to drop out of the league. His internet can't handle the racing. Speedy saying he kept seeing him teleporting on and off the track. That would be a huge shame if Unsku can't make it work. But I think racing from the US. Our standings aren't going to show tonight, unfortunately. But we know how things finished. We know that Clarkson finished ahead of Bjorneboer, ahead of Merckx, ahead of AJ, and a very nicely run race. Thanks so much, everyone, for bearing with us and enjoying the race with us. Thank you for liking the video and being a loyal subscriber to the channel. But from us here at the International Racing League and from me, Webbo, thanks so much for watching. We will catch you on the next race day.